So we discussed on throws keyword. Similar like throws keyword, another one is that throw. Throw is a keyword which is mainly they use for throwing an exception object. Suppose user level, if I need to throw any exception like custom exception or user defined exception, if you need to throw your exception, you can use throw keyword. Okay, so take this example here. I make example like this way, the same class. Okay, so I make control digit. I have try block, catch block. Okay, I have arithmetic exception. So now I make a main method. Okay, so I'm going to call the method that is demo.div. I pass a value 22, comma 0. That is it print here. Please enter non-zero value arithmetic exception. Display the message from catch block. Okay. Now here itself I make here throw. Throw is nothing but by using throw keyword, I'm manually throwing an exception, arithmetic exception of object. I'm throwing here. Now I divide a number by 2. There is no problem. So that now demo.java, so demo.div, it connect to div method. I pass a value 22 2. The division of 22 divided by 2 is 11, and I am throwing an exception object manually. I don't have an exception. So what will happen? It execute this part also. Try block also get execute, and also from try block it manually connect to the throw catch block and print this message also. So now it displays the output both. So throw is a keyword. By using throw keyword, we can manually throw an exception object. Here I am throwing an exception object manually. Okay, you can make some condition also. You can. Here there is no exception. Even though if the exception is not there, also it connect to catch block. It execute. So you have to apply throw keyword with some condition. You need to apply with the condition. You can. That we discuss later. Okay, custom exception. I show with the example that also. Fine. Same like try catch, throws. So throw which is true. So here I make a message here. So manually throw an exception object and exception object. Okay, if you need to throw manually any exception object, you can go for throw keyword. Mainly they use throw keyword for user defined exception or custom exception. I show that example later. So now I'm going to explain about finally. Finally is a block. It execute after try catch. Even if you have an exception, either if you have exception or not, either exception or not, it get execute. If you have exception also, it get execute. If you don't have an exception also, it get execute. But you have to use finally block after try catch. For example, I remove the throw keyword. So I have try catch finally. Finally is a block. I make it after try catch. Where they go for finally. Finally, mainly they use for closing the resource or clearing something. For that, you can go for finally. So here I make a message here. Closing a resource. Just add a message. Mainly, for example, take this example. If you are connecting database, okay, there is an exception there. Database is not connected. Before closing the connection, that means JVM gets shut down. Before JVM gets shut down, if you need to close the connection or if you need to release the resource or anything in the sense, you can make it under finally block. So JVM it execute finally, then it do the other operation. Okay. Now I have the number. For example, I have div program, div is a function. I'm passing the value 22 2. If I run this program, there is no problem. So it print the output division of 22 divided by 2, and finally block statement get executed. So finally block get execute even though if you don't have exception. I don't have an exception now. Suppose if I divide a number by 0, now what will happen? So there is a problem is there from try block connect to catch block. Please enter non-zero value and closing the resource. Print. So exception, even though if you have an exception or not, finally get execute. It execute after try catch. Okay. So similar like that, some areas if you make a program, you can make only try and finally also can. Particularly if you make a program, you have to make try. If you make try, immediately you need to make a catch block. Otherwise, it display error. Okay. So some areas they may make a program with try and finally. Now I divide a number by 0, but we not handle the problem. Catch is not there. So try block get executed. If there is a problem, is there you try to connect to catch block. There is no catch block. Now JVM shut down the program. Before shut down the program, I make a finally. So finally block statement get executed. And after that shut down the program. Can. You got that? So whenever JVM shut down the program, before shut down the program, if you need to execute some statement, you can put it under finally. Mainly in real time, if you're doing a project, they use finally to close the resource, close a connection. For example, if you have some network connection, if there is a problem with the network. So what you do, you can close the connection, close whatever the resource is there, you can close it. That we can do with finally. You can. If you make try, you have to make catch or finally. If you make only try, display error. This is the main point. So if you go for handling the exception, you must understand what is try, catch, throws, finally. Now you got a clear idea, I think so. So next one, we are going to discuss on how to create a user-defined exception. In Java, most of the exceptions, they are already predefined. Okay. Some exceptions you need to create. For example, it allows user to create their own exception also you can. How do you create our own exception in Java? That we discuss.
Hi students, if you really like my video, if you enjoy the video, please subscribe and like my channel. So I need your support. Thank you.